What's going on, fellas? I decided to keep things moving and get us out of here faster on the 22nd. I would just do the preseason meeting via video so you guys can see everything I want to talk about. Go through it real quick. So let's get started. I will start by going over the meeting agenda. First thing we want to do is welcome Jerome to the crew. I know a lot of everybody knows Jerome. Got him on a 1 year contract, so welcome, Jerome. All right, the next thing I wanted to do was review 2024. We made it to the district finals. I really enjoyed last year. I thought the crew got stronger as the year went along. Other thing is we did pretty good with communication amongst ourselves and with coaches, so that was a good thing. Uh, and moving on to new things, I want to talk about the personal goals and everything that we set for last year. I just reviewed some of the ones that I had put on the sheet from last year, and I don't think I achieved them all, but my goal is to set goals for myself and achieve them for me personally. And the crew goals, I thought the crew did excellent in meeting those goals, but me personally, I don't think I got to what I was trying to do. Uh, and let's talk about new business, the new things we want to talk about. So the travel and itinerary portion, we would do that when we get to Fort Osage on the 22nd. Penalty reports, we still have to do those. Apparently, Kevin Harrison has come up with a new way to do it, enter it via Google Forms or something. So Kilmer's going to roll that out, and then I'll have to take care of that. He says by Sunday after the game, so that gives more time to get it done. The other thing on this agenda is about quality fouls. We actually had something on this at the clinic. It was primarily talking about fouls where if you do see a hold, but the guy breaks free and makes the tackle, don't throw a flag. It's not a hold. Same thing if it's something that you think you see that's like a little tug or something like that, let it go. Make it be big so it shows up on film. If it doesn't show up on film, don't throw the flag. The less flags you have in the game, the better. We're trying to keep that flow going, continuation of flow in the game. Uh, of course, there are some other changes with the heat and hydration breaks. Now we don't have to worry about the dates anymore. Everything is done with that wet bulb globe thermometer. That's all games, all levels. Of course, we know that. If you've done the online rules review, that the schools are responsible for getting with the crew 30 minutes prior to game time to say if we're going to take hydration breaks or not. And those have not changed. It's at 6 minutes or the first uh, break after the 6 minute mark. The other thing I want to talk about is the pre and post game. Uh, well, I guess we're just going to get rid of post game. That's the simplest way to put it. I don't think it became more of a hassle than it's worth, and then I hear more and more people are not drinking. I personally was just stacking up a lot of the drinks in my fridge, and they're still sitting there. We're going to eliminate that. Just go through pregame. Uh, that is on the itinerary for all of us to look at when we go over everything on the 22nd. And association meetings, if you can, please come. I mean, they're getting better. They're asking for input. If you have anything that you want to have them review, suggest that to Kimbro and he will try to put something together. Or if you want to present something to the association that you think is beneficial, uh, by all means, go ahead and do so. I'm going to now go over a few slides that we had uh, from number one from the clinic and then also from the rules review. Just want to hit a few things And that'll be it, fellas. All right, this 10-yard buffer zone that they brought in last year, still got to continue to do that. What they wanted to reiterate is the line judge and the back judge bring your teams out of at the beginning of the game and escort them to the sideline. They don't want you to just run out there and uh, do nothing. So make sure that they turn and go to their sideline. The referee and umpire, if we need to, we can go out and keep them from making it to the 50 if it's feasible, if the band is not out there and all that stuff to kind of help keep that buffer zone, even as they're running onto the field, to turn them at the 40 to go to their sideline. The next thing is pregame mechanics. What they have changed is that the line judge and the linesman check the chain crew and equipment along with meeting with the ball boys prior to the game. So it should always be the line judge and the linesman. I believe this is in preparation for a possible change next year where the linesman and line judge switch sidelines at halftime. No one is opposed to it. It just has to go through official channels, be voted on and approved, and I got a feeling that's going to happen. Uh, Other changes, referee can either face the scoreboard or have his back to the scoreboard during the coin toss. I'm probably going to continue to do it the old way and have my back to the scoreboard because it's just the way I'm used to doing it, and it won't screw anybody else up who's used to doing it that way. So we just continue to do that. Coin toss, eh, no changes for me except I won't flip it. I don't know if I will let it hit the ground. I'll probably still catch it, but that is it on that topic. All right, the next thing I wanted to talk about is the forward fumble exception. So what we're talking about here is only thing I want to reiterate is let's just make sure we get a beanbag on fumbles on the spot, not necessarily the spot, but the yard line where the fumble occurred. So you don't have to throw it and hit the person or the player or anything like that. You can just drop it on the yard line where the fumble occurred. That's the spot we will come back to uh, if the fumble goes forward out of bounds between the goal lines. That's all I wanted to say about that. Let's just make sure we get a beanbag on it. Okay, the next topic is illegally and improperly worn equipment. What I found interesting in what Lou was saying in the rules meeting is that if they continue to violate the rules, like not pulling down their pants and their knees are showing and stuff like that, we can hit them with delay of game. And then if they continue, we can escalate that up to unsportsmanlike against the head coach. So it can escalate the same way that sideline warnings do, up to, a couple of them and they're out. Same thing you can do with equipment. They have our backs on this. Let's not be Nazis though and go crazy. Let's have them pull them down or send them out of the game. And if we have to continually talk to the same players or send them out of the game and all of this stuff, that's when we will hit them with the delay of game uh, penalty to start with. And hopefully that will correct that behavior from that team. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is this is something that I had in my presentation down in Columbia about managing the game. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, just the calls that you cannot miss. Uh, Basically, just the presentation was talking about how certain things, like you're not going to get all calls right, the 50-50 calls, just be decisive when you make it. Either it was a catch or not a catch, inbounds or out of bounds. Just be forceful on that. But the things we can't miss is we have to know the down. We've come close to screwing this up before, and I think we actually did in that Liberty uh, Park Hill game. Or was at least I'm in North. I forgot who it was. Uh, Also, don't allow the offense to snap the ball with zeros on the play clock. Uh, don't allow them to snap the ball with zeros on the game clock. And we also have to get our counts and make sure that we don't allow the offense to snap the ball with more than 11 players. These are the things that we cannot screw up. The other thing I had in here was the game clock starting and then there's a false start, and we're not resetting it. So I'll probably talk to clock operators about that before the game, that they should just do it. Like if it's a dead ball foul and they run 2 seconds off the clock, go ahead and put that 2 seconds back on. Uh, Stuff like that. But those are the things we want to talk about there. The next thing I want to talk about is getting into a rhythm. This is where I think we did excellent last year, which was made it my favorite year to officiate in a long time, because we did get into that rhythm where we trusted each other. We knew where each other was going to be. And that rhythm is when you snap the ball, then you set the ball, you count the players, you know the down, you know the distance, you know the status of the clock. Then they run a play, and then we come back, set the ball, count the players, do it all over again. It's just going and going and going. The game is just clicking along, and everyone's in that perfect rhythm. That is what we always strive for. That is excellent, to be in the groove or in the pocket, as you want to call it. So let's strive to get there again. We got there last year. It was excellent. I would like to see us continue to do that. That will help us a lot uh, in the future if we want to proceed further in the playoffs. All right. So what interrupts that rhythm that I just talked about is when somebody throws a flag. That just kills the rhythm right of that routine. But flags are necessary. They're part of the game. That's why we're there, to adjudicate the game. But let's make sure we make those flags count. I talked about this earlier. Make it big. No ticky tack stuff. It's got to be big enough to show on film and that it jumps out on you. So if you like, hey, I think I saw that. No, you didn't. It's got to be there. You got to see it. It's got to be big. Want it to show up on film. So again, we're trying to throw as few flags as possible. All right, that's all I have. I will see you guys on Friday, August 22nd, and we can fill out this itinerary and go from there. Thanks, gentlemen. Thanks for your time. See you soon.